Well, well, well. I can't believe this one snuck by me. Like I I should have seen this one coming before anyone. There shouldn't have been I didn't even need to be a council member to bring you some inside new information about over the next 20 years here in Woodland Park. Now, I know some of you are going to think I am crazy, but if you'll stick with me, if you care about Woodland Park, if you understand Woodland Park, if you will stick through this video, I'm going to give you some information you might not have known. Maybe you did. Maybe they've been announcing it and I just missed it. Maybe I don't have my finger on the pulse of this place as well as I think I do. But if you'll stick with me, I'm about to share some information with you that will give you a glimpse into what Woodland Park will be in 20 years. I don't know if many of you know this about me, but people have always asked, what do you do? What do you do? What's your work? This, that, and the other. Let me put it this way. I have worked with nonprofits all over the country for many, many years. For many years, I used to tell people, I put the mega in church. Listen to me. I'm trying to tell you what you want to know about Michael the Underground Dalton for counsel. I'm also trying to tell you how you will understand how I understand more about this place than most people could even fathom. When I was a kid, my father was head of security for one of the largest televangelists in the world to this very date. In other words, he was the largest televangelist when I was a kid. To this very date, he is still one of the largest televangelists on the planet. His name is Kenneth Copeland. My father worked for Kenneth for somewhere between 8 and 10 years, if my memory serves me correct. But my mom says, I think it's 8 years. So I'm like, okay, 8 years. But I remember my dad being out there in certain times. And now I think I know why, because my dad used their facility. My dad went from being head of security at Kenneth Copeland Ministries to being head of the SWAT team in Fort Worth, Texas, and would use Kenneth Copeland's facility as a training facility for the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department SWAT team. And so I remember being out there even past when my dad worked there. Now I'm going to break the news to you right now. Kenneth Copeland's grandson is starting a church very close to Woodland Park, just down the hill in Green Mountain Falls. And Woodland Park sits in the middle. You got Green Mountain Falls, and you got Charis Bible College up here. Kenneth Copeland's grandson just purchased 150 acres and a 30,000 square foot building. And I learned just yesterday, because I attended one of their services, they are going to probably move into that facility debt-free when it comes to renovations. They made public announcement yesterday that they have almost raised 75% of the remodel of that 3,000 or 30,000 square foot building. Woodland Park, you mark my words, Woodland Park in 20 years will have two of the largest superpowers when it comes to the evangelical faith-based movement, religion, Christianity, whatever you want to call it. They will have two of the largest ones on the face of the planet. I'm not talking states. I'm not talking in the US. I'm talking about global reach. When we look at Andrew Womack 20 years from now, and when we look at Jeremy Pearson 20 years from now, I'm giving you a prediction that we have two of the largest superpowers in the religious sector in the world, based right here in Woodland Park. And I'll make a bet with anyone who says otherwise. Now, I want to go in a full disclosure. I went to a church service last night for Legacy Church. They met at our UTE Pass Cultural Center. The place was packed. The energy, hashtag the spirit, was thick. If you have ears, please, please hear. Do not take offense to my words. If you have ears, please hear. It was thick. And the man I saw stand in front of me took me back to when I was 10 years old, not because I was best friends with Jeremy. I called him Jeremy Copeland, but it's Jeremy Pearson. His dad was my dad's boss. Listen to me. I can't make this up. I couldn't tell you a story about myself and my experience to be a council member other than, oh yeah, I knew about Andrew Womack when I was a kid. One of his second in charge there was a pastor of a church in Decatur, Texas, where I was the sound man. Did I invite these guys to Colorado, Woodland Park? Heck no! I thought they chased me here. It will freak a brother out when you're sitting in one of the smallest mountains. I was sitting when I found out that Kenneth Copeland's grandson was starting a church in Woodland Park, Green Mountain Falls, Colorado. I found out yesterday morning at a small mountain church in the center of town, pastored by a man who has climbed more 14ers than I even knew existed in the state. A man who grew up here in Woodland Park and was a youth pastor and grew up and now pastors a small mountain church. This is where my family attends. Now, I work for a lot of nonprofits, so I will be straight up honest with you. 22 months, my first Sunday off to go to church with my family was yesterday. That doesn't mean I hadn't been at churches all over the world, all over the country, up and down the Front Range. 22 months, I go to church for the very first time, and a man walks up to me and says, "Did you know Kenneth Copeland's grandson is starting a church here?" I knew exactly, as soon as he told me this, who that 10-year-old kid was. I used to run the hallways in the same conferences that this 10-year-old kid would run hallways. And he's starting a church down the hill. Wait a minute. This is the twilight zone I'm living in. I went to the church service last night. My God, it took me back. When he was preaching, and he only spoke for a little bit of time, he introduced his wife to preach. And let me tell you something. I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. Y'all want a little hint about how to know how to trust a man if he's a preacher? You want a hint? I've worked for the best. I have literally worked for the best preachers in the country. I could start name dropping right now, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to let you in on a little hint how to know if you got a good preacher, you only listen to him for a few minutes and he introduces his wife. Let those that have ears hear this crap, because I'm telling you the truth and you ain't going to be able to deny me in 20 years. I'm still going to be here in 20 years with my grandkids, and I'm trying to tell you what the future and the culture of Woodland Park is going to look like, and you don't really have a say about it. That's the funny thing. If we believe, and I say we, if we believe Woodland Park, the culture will be shifted because we have a Bible college. I'm telling you, we're about to have one of the largest churches in Colorado, and you're going to call me a prophet, and people are going to say, you're crazy, Michael. This is not going to have anything to do with me. It's going to have to do with what I understand about the men who are moving to Woodland Park. I understand these men. I don't understand our politicians. I don't understand our mayors. I don't understand our under mayors. I don't understand some of our city council members. The two men that in 20 years will have two of the largest nonprofits in the world. I understand these men. This is something we can talk about. You want to know about my experience? So I was at church. He introduced his wife within minutes. This is a sign of a good man, just in my opinion. Just in my opinion. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. It's just in my opinion. A preacher introduces his wife within a few minutes, and she gets a smile she can't wipe off from ear to ear. He tells a story of how they met, and she's bawling up there. This is not acting, folks. This isn't acting. This is real life. It's pretty authentic when you see this interaction. But more than that, I was taken back to when I was 10 years old, and all of a sudden I was watching one of the best public speakers I have ever watched. And I have come to this conclusion that Kenneth Copeland is one of the best public speakers I have ever watched because it is a gift. It is a gift that can't be taken away. It's the same damn gift that if you can run the 40, if you're an athlete, it's the same gift if you're an artist, if you're a musician. It's the same gift. It can't be taken. It's genetic. It's freaking genetic. I promise you it's in people's DNA. I promise you that the DNA of one of the most talked about, televised, controversial, this son of a gun's got jets on jets, people. Kenneth Copeland is the largest, biggest televangelist in the world, and his grandson is starting a church in Green Mountain Falls, and I'm telling you that that church will probably be one of the largest churches in Colorado Springs, far less than 20 years. In 20 years, it may be one of the most powerful ministries that in the evangelical religious. Why? Because of culture. There is a family man who has the support of his wife, who has a beautiful family, who has the support of people from all over the state. By the way, I was listening when I was at church last night. I wasn't listening to the preacher's message. I was listening to the congregation. I was eavesdropping on the people over here, and I was eavesdropping on, I knew that there were very few locals in the joint. I was like, where'd all these people come from? I don't recognize any of them. Some of them recognize me, though. Some of them recognize me because I had a conversation with that man at Memorial Park. My God, you came here not for Charis. You didn't come here for Charis. Oh, you know Charis, but you came here for legacy. I remember our conversation at the park. I was listening. I heard somebody came from Littleton. I heard somebody come from Longmont. I heard somebody come from Fort Collins. I heard somebody came from Texas. These guys came from Tejas to come to this meeting, at this church, at this moment, this family night. Oh, I know where this is going. You can't stop it. You don't have to join it. I'm not telling you to go join Charis Bible College or Legacy Church or any of that. I'm not telling you to leave your churches. Pastors, listen to me. I don't know what to tell you. You got trouble coming, because I saw something last night. Not only one of the best male public speakers I have watched in a minute at his age, he's my age. Remember, I've known this kid since he was 10. I'm pretty sure he did something to me, because I told my wife, I was like, why do I have this weird feeling towards Jeremy? Like, was he a punk kid? Was he a punk preacher kid? Probably was. He probably was the biggest punkest preacher kid. But I'm telling you something truth about him now. I haven't seen him in 30 years, maybe even longer. I don't know the exact dates, but I can tell you something right now. He is one of the best public speakers that I've laid eyes on at his age. If you don't believe me, don't. If I'm full of crap, I'm full of crap. I'm talking about something I know now. This isn't something I have to pretend through. I have watched the best of what nonprofits have to offer. I have traveled the world with nonprofits. I have worked with the best public speakers in the corporate world. I recognize a good public speaker. All of a sudden, he didn't preach, though, by the way. I mean, he took the offering and the place gave. 75%. They're at 75% of funding for a complete remodel of a 30,000 square foot building that would already be done if they could get the permits and stuff through, right? They would be done. They got money in the bank, 75% to do 100% remodel of a facility that has sat vacant. Oh, that has a history. Oh, that facility has a history. We'll have to get, that's a whole nother damn video. I know a lot about that facility where they bought there in Green Mountain Falls. I know the organizations. I did videos for nonprofits that have been in that building. 150 of primo UTE Pass property just got sold to a guaranteed slam dunk, straight to the point public speaker. God, it's going to be brilliant. I get to watch this crap. Can you imagine a punk kid at 10 years old running around the Fort Worth Convention Center? My dad is head of security. He had a private police force. He created the police force that protected Kenneth Copeland and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Billions, probably. Billions. And the grandson of this man just bought the sweetest 150 acres. Green Mountain Falls? Are you kidding me? They don't even have a police force. Green Mountain Falls? Are you kidding me? Woodland Park PD has an agreement to patrol Green Mountain Falls. Did you know that? The grandson buys a church. He buys a property. He didn't got a church, by the way. Just because you think he bought property, he already got a church. He filled the UTE Pass Cultural Center with every seat in it. He even made a joke about they need to take that damn structure, whatever it is, they need to take the hotel out. He joked about that last night, and I thought that was brilliant. He was like, we got our own hotel in our church building right now. We're blessed. Best facility in all the county. He said about our UTE Pass Cultural Center. Man, don't take my word for it. I was there. Okay, let's get back to it. Public speaker introduces his wife. That's the problem, kids. Therein lies the problem. His wife could be the second best female public speaker I have ever seen. Gloria Copeland, she ranked number 2. Are you listening? It's in the DNA, kids. You can't stop it. Andrew Womack, you're worried about an old man building a college? This young cat's going to do stuff, man. He's going to do stuff. Y'all don't even know. This dude's got his own television show already. He's my age. We literally, 10 years old, were walking the same hallways. His grandpa was the preacher. My dad was the man who protected the preacher. And we're in Woodland Park. 2 things I thought. I was like, God, are you trying to chase me down? What are you dealing with me? This was about me. This wasn't about Woodland Park, by the way. This was blowing my mind. And I'm in this little bitty church trying to listen to this little bitty preacher who climbs a bunch of 14ers, been here his whole life. People around the whole congregation been here their whole life. This is small mountain. I don't need mega church. I don't need mega church in Woodland Park. I go to Colorado Springs when I want to take money from the mega church. I go to Denver when I want to take money from the mega church. I go to Fort Collins when I want to take money from the mega church. I didn't move to Woodland Park to have mega church college and mega church down the road. The problem is, kids, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I ain't got nothing to do with it. And I can become a council member and I can become the mayor of this town. And trust me, it ain't going to be about them leaving. It's going to be about working with them. And when you elect a council member, I promise you this, I will work with these people because I understand these people. But I love you. I love you, Woodland Park. I don't love the mega church. I done worked at them. I work at them. I take the money. I'm getting pastors. I got pastors leaving me messages for lunch. They want me to come to lunch because let me take you out for a drink, Michael, next time you're in Denver. We want you to come visit. We heard you got an opening. Mega church coming to Woodland Park, folks. You ain't seen it. You ain't seen it. It's going to be, listen, if you ask me if I'm for or against this, this is what I'm going to tell you. I would rather have a mega church than a prison. I promise you that. And some damn whacking hut could have bought that facility. They could have retrofitted it as a private prison, put up fencing and guards. They're going to put up guards there. He had a, you didn't think I saw your ushers, did you? And he probably is going to, he's hip to this now. He's going to get word of this, that he's going to watch this video. I seen all your ushers. I pick a security guard out. My daddy used to wear that same suit, that same earpiece. I love it. They're going to have guards, but they ain't going to have high fences. They ain't going to have barbed wire, and they ain't going to have, well, they're going to have some prisoners. They're going to have some dirty folks, some sick folk. But those people will change. They will change. Their message, the message that is being taught, is change. That's what they teach. They teach change. When you accept the scripture, the teachings of the scripture, when you accept, you change. You're changed. This is what they do. I know more about their, I've heard all their messages, but I was going to tell you about his wife. She the second best female public speaker I've laid eyes on. And I've seen big pharma public speakers. I've seen corporate Goldman Sachs public speakers. I have had the opportunity to work with the chief marketing officers of Facebook and Instagram and the public speaker females that they bring out. We're talking about the sharpest of the sharpest of the sharpest. And I heard about a 20, 30-minute message from one of the sharpest. It's a culture thing you got to understand. They are bringing with them a family culture. Win, lose, or draw, folks. Families are coming to Woodland Park. They are moving here to go to a church or to go to a college. It don't matter what you think, who you elect. You can elect the old farmer, family fly fisherman. You can elect the old military vet. He don't know nothing about what, he never even fought a religious war with the Christians. I promise you that. So you can elect whoever you want for council. No one on council will have the expertise that I have in the nonprofit sector since I was 10 years old, running the same hallways as the mega church preacher coming to town. Now, is Legacy Church a mega church right now? No. They filled the cultural center, okay? I can fill the cultural center with the people in this live video, okay? They filled the cultural center. I'm not telling you a mega church is here today. If you listened, I told you we're going to have one of the most powerful religious media ministries the world has ever known right down the street in Green Mountain Falls, and I'll take a bet with anyone who says otherwise. How about that? Put your freaking money where it is. You want to bet the underground on this? I'm going to be here in 20 years to collect. So we'll stash that crap over at Park State Bank and collect 20 years, and Tony can invest it for us. Because I'll take that bet. 20 years from now, that's going to be one of the most powerful mega churches, ministries in the U.S. Take my advice or leave it. Charis Bible College, I think, maybe a close second to them. That's why I say that if you think Charis Bible College is the biggest nonprofit to come up UTE Pass, you have seen nothing yet. Nothing yet. My name's Michael. You're watching the Woodland Park Underground. When you get your ballot for municipal elections this year, you're going to have a choice to vote for Michael the Underground Dalton. I may not be the perfect choice for council, but I don't see a bunch of other people standing up. Of the other 4 people that are running for council, maybe there's 5, I don't know. I lost track. Of the other 5, from the resumes that I have seen, not all of them have the experience when it comes to dealing with mega church preachers, nonprofits of the size we have in Woodland Park and the size we have going to be coming and growing. And I don't know if these 2 are it, by the way. Remember, I just found out about Legacy yesterday, Sunday morning, in my small mountain church that sits across from City Hall. I've darted the doors of every church in this county, but my family attends Emmaus. My wife volunteers and cleans that church. It's right across from City Hall. City Hall uses their property. Half the people in there sign my petition to get on the ballot. Somebody walks up to me and says, Kenneth Copeland, grandson, is starting a church in Green Mountain Falls. That's how I found out about it. Am I happy about it? Like I said, I would rather that place be a mega church than a prison. Is the jury out on Jeremy? He's an incredible public speaker. His wife is too. They've already got a tight ship running. They got a tight ship running. Y'all don't even know. If you were there last night, you would have understood. You may have eyes to see what I've seen. But I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't seen what I've seen last night in a long time. I saw a younger version of one of the most powerful televangelists to walk the face of the planet ever. And he just started a church down the street. He's a grandson, but make no mistake about it, that Copeland DNA runs thick. So take it for what it is. If I'm a betting man, I'm betting on the legacy. Oh, we got to end with that. Vote underground. Vote underground on this year's ballot. Let me go meet these guys. Let me go see what's happening. Let me, I went and shook Jeremy's hand last night, by the way. No mistake, introduced him, gave him my card, told him who I was. I said, bro, we used to run around at 10 years of age. Bro, my dad guarded your granddad. That's the words I said to him. And so he was in shock as I was. Now, I got more followers on my page as of today. Y'all go over and find Legacy Church, Woodland Park. You'll go find them. Go like them, follow them. There's nothing you can do about it, by the way. You could try. You could say whatever you want to say about Granddad. You could say whatever you want to say about the people that roll in his crowd, Jesse Duplantis, Jerry Savelle, Andrew Womack, and all the rest of them. You could say whatever you want. It's already been said. Slow down. Slow down. They chose Woodland Park to live for a reason. It's God's country. Ain't nobody going to argue with that. This is God's mountain. Ain't nobody going to argue with the beauty that surrounds us. We knew God's people were going to come eventually. We knew they were going to come up the mountain. It actually says it in the Bible if you have ever read it. It says head to the mountains, folks. That's what these guys are doing. So win, lose, or draw, whether you like it, whether you hate it, whether you're an atheist, whether you're an old timer, whether you're a good luck, because I've already seen this play out. I hope I can help. I hope I can help. I hope I get your vote. I hope I can help because I know. Gosh, I wish I could collect on a 20-year bet I just made with half of you. I'm out.